Elephants have been a part of warfare for thousands of years, dating back to ancient civilizations. The first recorded use of elephants in battle comes from India, around 3000 BCE. These mighty creatures were not only used for their strength and size, but also for their strategic advantages. They were often employed as heavy cavalry, able to charge into enemy lines, trample soldiers, and cause chaos on the battlefield. The ancient world saw war elephants as symbols of power and might. They were often decorated with armor and weapons, and sometimes even had archers or spearmen mounted on their backs. Elephants were particularly valuable in open battlefields where their size could intimidate the enemy and break through defenses. The first major use of elephants in battle is attributed to the Indian subcontinent. Elephants were used in the early Vedic period by Indian kings. One of the most famous early uses was by King Porus, who fought against Alexander the Great in 326 BCE at the Battle of the Howdahs. The Indian king had a large number of elephants, and although Alexander ultimately won, the battle was costly due to the sheer power of these giant animals. In addition to India, elephants were also used by the Persians, Greeks, and even the ancient Egyptians. However, it was in the Indian subcontinent where the use of elephants became most sophisticated, with armies relying on them to lead charges and act as a formidable force on the front lines. After Alexander's encounter with elephants in India, we Greeks began to recognize the importance of these animals in warfare. Alexander's successors, the Seleucid Empire and the Ptolemies of Egypt, started adopting elephants into their own military forces. The Greek king, Pyrrhus of Epirus, famously used war elephants in his battles against the Romans, including the Battle of Heraclea in 280 BCE. His elephants proved to be a powerful weapon, striking fear into the Roman soldiers. Despite the success of elephants in battle, their impact was not without challenges. The large size of elephants made them vulnerable to well-coordinated attacks. The Romans, in particular, would develop tactics to counter these mighty animals, such as using specialized units to attack the elephant's vulnerable sides or trap them in narrow spaces. Perhaps the most famous use of elephants in Western history occurred during the Second Punic War between Rome and Carthage from 218 to 201 BCE. The Carthaginian general, Hannibal Barca, led an audacious campaign across the Alps, bringing war elephants with him. This extraordinary journey, which saw Hannibal and his elephants cross the treacherous mountain passes, remains one of the most famous military feats in history. Though Hannibal's elephants endured great hardships, including harsh weather and difficult terrain, they played a key role in his victories. The sight of these elephants in battle was a terrifying spectacle for the Romans. However, as the Romans adapted to counter the elephant's impact, Hannibal's use of them became less effective in later battles. Despite their limited success, war elephants remained a key part of Carthage's military tradition. As the Roman Empire expanded and developed new military strategies, the use of elephants in warfare gradually declined in Europe. The Romans, who had once used elephants during the Punic Wars, started to rely more on legions and cavalry rather than large beasts of burden. The evolution of battle tactics, including the increased use of missile weapons, made elephants less useful in the face of more sophisticated military technology. Despite this decline in Europe, elephants continued to be used in other parts of the world. In Southeast Asia, elephants were still employed in battle well into the medieval period, especially by the kingdoms of Thailand, Myanmar, and Cambodia. These elephants were trained for combat and served as a form of heavy cavalry, often used to charge the enemy's front lines or break through their formations. Though war elephants are no longer a mainstay in modern warfare, their legacy remains in history and culture. In India and Southeast Asia, elephants are still seen as symbols of power and majesty. They are also featured prominently in cultural festivals and ceremonies, often dressed in ornate armor and crowns. The use of elephants in battle paved the way for innovations in military strategy and tactics, especially in terms of cavalry. Elephants demonstrated the importance of mobility and psychological warfare, as their sheer size could cause panic among enemy troops. While no longer used in battle, the historical impact of war elephants continues to influence modern military thought. The role of elephants in warfare is a fascinating chapter in military history. From their use by ancient Indian kings to their infamous crossing of the Alps by Hannibal, elephants shaped the outcome of many battles, while their use eventually waned due to technological advancements. The legacy of these majestic creatures endures, reminding us of their unique place in history. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed today's video, like and subscribe for more content, and see you in the next one.